Okay, just a small bit of cleanup to finish off this particular section. If I click on the activities, then we can see a definite flicker here. But that's only when we've already got the activities in memory. Typically, if I normally go back to home, go to our activities, then we can occasionally see a flicker. And if we go on view an activity and then click on cancel, sometimes it's there, sometimes it isn't. But what we want to do really is if we do click on an individual activity, then we've already got our activities in memory. If we go and cancel, there's no reason that we should be going back to our API at this stage to go and get our activities all over again. So what we'll do is we'll just make a small adjustment to our activity dashboard here. And what we're currently doing is we're loading our activities every single time that we load our activity dashboard. What we could do is, on the basis that we've already got activities in our activity registry, well, we could just not load our activities, and that's the approach we'll take, and that will remove any flicker we have because the activities will just be already there. So what we'll do is we'll just destructure our props from the activity store as we've done before, just to keep things tidy in our components. And what we're going to do is get our load activities, and we'll also get the activity registry as a property that we can access inside our activity dashboard. And then we don't need to use activity store.load activities. But what we will do in our use effect is we'll check to see if our activity registry dot size is equal to 0. And if it is, then we're going to load our activities, because when we initialize our activity registry inside the store, then its size is going to be 0. Then that basis, we use our effect. If it is 0, then we're going to go and make our request to our API to load the activities. So if we go take a look at our application and we go back to the home page and go to activities, then we can see that we not only don't activate our loading indicator, but of course that has the side effect of removing the flicker as well. And if I refresh the page, then we load our app, we get our activities. If I go and view an activity, click on cancel, then we get taken straight back. I think there's one other bit of cleanup we need to do. If we go and click on create an activity, we actually don't have a way to cancel back out of this form at the moment. So just one tiny bit more cleanup to do. And if we go to our activity form, then what we need to do inside here is add the redirect so that we can go back to our activities page. So what we'll do is we'll say the button as equals link, and then we'll say to equals, and then we'll just take them back to the activities dashboard by adding this link in there. And if we go take a look, then we should now be able to cancel and head back to our activities. But of course, this does highlight another problem that we've introduced by doing this. And to demonstrate that, if I view an activity and then I go and edit the activity, then I refresh the page and I go back to the activities, I either cancel this or do something else, then we're left with just a single activity. So the change that we made there is not really doing the job that we want it to do. So what we'll need to do just to get around this for the time being is in the activity dashboard, instead of checking the size is equal to 0, we'll just check to see if it's less than or equal to 1. And this will then resolve that particular problem. We'll do a more sophisticated way when it comes onto pagination a bit later on, but this will resolve that particular problem for the time being. So if I refresh the page, I try and repeat the behavior, I click on edit, and then I refresh the page, and then I click on cancel, then we load all of our activities once again. And that's going to be the same if I view an individual activity, refresh the page, click on cancel, then we're going to need to go out and get our activities again. And that works around that particular problem that we introduced just now. So let's just double check our console, make sure we haven't left any warnings behind, and I can see a few warnings inside here. And it's telling us that the React hook use effect has missing dependencies. Of course, we've changed the dependencies here inside there, so we need to correct that as well. And let's go back to our dashboard. And instead of the activity store as a dependency, then this needs to be activity registry.size and the load activities as its dependencies. And let's just refresh the page once again, make sure we haven't created any new problems with this. And if I go and view an activity and click on edit, and we see it there, and if I just refresh the page once again, then this is looking fine, and we've got no warnings in our console, and that's exactly what we're looking for. So we're good to save our changes into source control. This has brought us to the end of the routing section. We will, of course, be using routing throughout the build of our application. So expect to be coming back to our routes as we need to, as we're developing this, but for now, we're good to go and save our changes into source control. And what we'll do is we'll stage our changes by using the plus button. We'll give it a commit message and say end of section 8, Command and enter, and then I'm just going to push these changes up to the GitHub repository. And what we'll do is we'll wrap up with a summary next.